being more of a STEM based student, English was the subject that I struggled with the most. And there was a lot of like constant, like hard work that I had to put into that subject that was very different to the work I did in other subjects. And I think it was just important for me that I had to realize that I can't discard this subject, even though it might not be my favorite subject, that I still have to make sure I do the best I can in it. And I think just making sure that I put more of my time into that subject helped, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And did you find that you used a more mathematical or formulaic approach to English? Like, did you find that's just how your brain worked? So you actually kind of played into that and tried to employ some kind of formula and kept a lot of structure, maybe more than most?
Not really. I mean, most of my friends are like really good at English. So I think working with them on like my essays and stuff, I did learn to do it a very similar way to a lot of my peers. But also at the same time, I did write a lot of my stuff to a bit of a structure, but like at the same time, like playing around with a bit of like style and all that as well. I think the thing that was different with me to a lot of like students who are like who prefer to do English and stuff like that was that I very much focused on the memorization aspect. That was what carried me through.
Mm.
And I know that that's not necessarily the best strategy. It was the strategy that worked for me though.
100%. And I think, when you say best, it might not be the ideal strategy from like a teacher's point of view or a learning point of view, but the way the exam's structured, I think we would be lying if we said that wasn't a useful strategy to use, right? Because you have very limited time in those exams to show all of your knowledge for things that you've learned for terms, right? Terms at a time. So it would be crazy not to actually have memorization at least as part of the strategy there. And I know some students do a lot of preparation, so much so that they don't need to strictly memorize, but it's a really important piece, I believe.
Yeah, and I think it's really one of the unfortunate things about the way the HSC is standardized, the fact that it's not so much about what we've learned, it's about how well we can do in the exam settings.
No, I agree, and until the actual exam structure changes, I don't think we can move away from the memorization model, right? I think you need to give students 2 hours to write one essay if you really want them to think through the issue and come up with something unique, or you need to employ different modes of examination. Like I always think that kind of viva voce, where you sit down and discuss things, is actually one of the most genuine ways of articulating your knowledge and understanding. I think that would lead to a much more true reflection of a student's understanding versus a 40-minute exam where you're just cramming in all of this knowledge into like one structured essay. So I think until those structural changes happen, which could be a long time from now, the memorization will remain a key piece for many students.